Seahawks and Cowboys ready to kick off here at Cowboys Stadium. Today, 3 new players will be inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Drew Pearson, one of the star receivers. Larry Allen, outstanding offensive lineman, played guard on the Super Bowl 30 team and made 10 Pro Bowls. And Charles Haley, 5-time Super Bowl ring, 3 of those with the Cowboys. That ceremony taking place at halftime, making the number 20 in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Our key inactives, Felix Jones, continue to be out, the star running back, because of that injury to his ankle. And Matt McBriar, the Pro Bowl punter, which we will address as well. Sean Lee, who is the top defensive player, leads the team in tackles, fumble recoveries, and interceptions, out with an injured wrist.
Yeah, and they are really going to miss him. He has had an outstanding second season in the National Football League, and it's not just with all the run stuff as a run defender. He leads the Dallas Cowboys in interceptions as well. He will be highly missed this afternoon.
Cowboys won the toss and won the football. So Stephen Hauschka ready to kick off. Kevin Ogletree deep, and the 8th game for the Seahawks and Cowboys is happening. Ogletree from his 1. And the Dallas Cowboy offense will take over as Tony Romo. The ribs are feeling better so far. 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this year.
And I think this will be the last game that he's got to wear that Kevlar vest to protect those ribs. You look at him in terms of his receivers. Love to see him get back on track with Jason Witten. They were off, Chris, last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Up front, I think still trying to find their way when you look at this offensive line. I think the tackles really have to play better. They will have good, tough matchups today against those defensive ends that can rush the passer for Seattle.
And a whistle before the first snap from scrimmage.
Offense number 82. 82. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The infraction on Jason Witten, the tight end, and Terry McCauley, our referee for today. So in a hole to start. Now 1st and 15. And DeMarco Murray, the rookie running back, with another start in the backfield behind Romo. Murray a couple of yards before K.J. Wright made the stop. And this Seattle defense tough against the run, and Alan Branch is in there playing with an injured leg.
And it's good because he's playing his best football that I've seen him play in his career. I'll tell you the guy who paces him in their run defense. It's Big Red Bryant. You can't move him. Linebackers are good. They've gotten a lot out of the rookie K.J. Wright. And then there's that huge secondary. Everybody but Earl Thomas was 6 foot 3 inches or better. Earl Thomas, Chris, is the fastest guy on this football field today.
2nd and 13. Romo's pass is caught. That's LaRon Robinson. It'll bring up 3rd down. Robinson coming off a big game in the loss to the Eagles. And Tony Romo said, hey, he gave us receiver depth. We didn't have that before when guys like Dez Bryant, Miles Austin were out injured.
Well, and you have to wonder how he's made a seamless transition since he just got here not long ago. Didn't spend any of the offseason with these guys. He knows the offense. He was with North Turner last year, virtually the same offense. So it's been a nice, easy assimilation for LaRon Robinson.
And we have a timeout on the field. Seahawks call it.
Charge timeout, Seattle.
3rd down and 6, as Pete Carroll talked about his Seahawk team, and he said that we're a growing team. In fact, his line was, must find our way and get out of our own way sometimes.
Well, and I think part of that is penalties, especially on defense with their cornerbacks, and just kind of being real physical with guys, maybe overly physical with those big corners. They've got to get more pressure on the quarterback. I think he knows that. And then I think most of all, his defense is going to be fine. Offensively, Chris, they've got to find some consistency in their run game, and I expect them to try to do that today, but it's going to be a big challenge.
Jason Garrett said we have to win the one-on-one matchups. He expects that. The Cowboys have scored 24 points this season on their first offensive possession, 3 touchdowns and a field goal facing a 3rd down here.
Well, and you're right. They have started fast, and that's what Pete Carroll told us yesterday. He said we've given up far too many points, conversely, on defense to start games. Let's see what they do here on this big first 3rd down.
Our second flag.
Ball start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So that's on the left guard, Montre Holland. And that backs the Cowboys up 5 more yards. This doesn't look like a team that got whipped by the Eagles and sounded like they were going to come out fired up.
Chris, the area where they had the most problems against Philadelphia offensively was the offensive line. I mean, they were awful last week against Philadelphia. Montre Holland just put him in a deeper hole here now with the 3rd and long situation.
So 7 defensive backs for Seattle. 3rd and 11. Romo, the quick pass is complete. That's DeMarco Murray. And he gets up but is short of the first down. David Hawthorne ran him down. So Dallas faced with a punting situation.
Well, what killed him again was the penalty on Montre Holland. You don't get that penalty and your whole menu in terms of your playbook is open. You get in 3rd and 10 plus. And they got to run the screen and hope that DeMarco Murray can break a couple of tackles. He ended up a yard or 2 short.
And Chris Jones active because Matt McBriar's nerve injury in his foot, the Pro Bowl punter, struggled last week. Jones signed as McBriar's inactive, so his first NFL punt. He was with him in training camp. And off the practice squad booms this one for Leon Washington. And inside the 20, a fair catch called for where Seattle will take over on offense as Tavares Jackson with the injury, the chest injury you talked about. So he's going to be in pain all day. It's just to what degree those throws hurt.
Well, it makes me think of last week, and he is going to be in pain. And last week they didn't expect him to play. He came in the 2nd quarter and threw for a career high. Sidney Rice has certainly given him a big shot in the arm. Love to see Zach Miller get going a little bit more, their tight end. Very young up front with the offensive line. How do these guys contain DeMarcus Ware? To me is the biggest question going in looking at that group.
Marshawn Lynch fighting hard for about 4 yards on a first down carry. Brady James brought him down. And with that run game, the workhorse, when he's on, now he had some back spasms that cost him a game, but Pete Carroll talked about riding him in this game.
Look, he wants Marshawn to get 18 carries, and that's kind of the threshold they've set for him. Their 2 wins this year, Arizona and the New York Giants, were both paced by their running game. Critical that he's effective today.
2nd and 6. Doug Baldwin is in. Pass is complete. Anthony McCoy, the tight end, goes out of bounds up near the 40 for a Seattle first down. And in this 3-4 defense led by DeMarcus Ware with 12 sacks coming off a 4-sack performance.
Well, DeMarcus is the guy they got to get blocked in the passing game. Jay Ratliff in the run game. Still an outstanding player. Brooking gets the start today for Sean Lee. And then on the back end, they're pretty good. Orlando Scandrick is out there for Michael Jenkins. Quietly, I think those 2 safeties are playing pretty well.
After a gain of 13, first down Seattle. Here comes another flag.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that is McCoy who just made the catch. The penalty on the tight end. 4th most penalties so far this season in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks. Of course, the Raiders own that category every year. So penalties backed up the Cowboys on their opening drive. Let's see what Seattle does against Rob Ryan's defense. And it's Lynch. Ooh. What was the ooh? At the 35.
What a collision. Barry Church came up and just rocked Marshawn Lynch and lost his hat while he was doing it. And everybody gets involved as you're going to see Barry Church just come flying up in here into the box. The run's going to go here. Watch 42. Or excuse me, came from the other side. And look at that hat come off. I mean, that is a big-time collision between Marshawn Lynch. Rob Ryan plays all of his guys, Chris, and keeps them all involved in the game plan. You'll see 7 defensive backs get involved today for the Cowboys.
Blitz is picked up on 2nd and 11 and batted in the air and complete. Terrence Newman from the corner spot, and the pass intended for Sidney Rice.
Well, Newman read that route right from the second Tavares Jackson got the ball in his hands. Read the slant, jumped the slant, made a big-time burst on it, and almost picked it off.
You mentioned Pete Carroll wanting to start fast, and with Tavares Jackson, you can't be patient in the running game if you aren't getting first down.
Absolutely. I'll tell you where Tavares needs to attack this defense is in the middle of the field against those linebackers.
3rd and 11 for Set at running back. Down the middle of the field and incomplete. 4th down Seahawks. The Cowboys hold.
Watch DeMarcus Ware in the surge of this pass rush. Watch Robert Gallery right there as he tries to take on DeMarcus Ware in that power rush. That is a perfect definition, illustration of what you call a bull rush. Takes a guy that outweighs him by about 40 or 50 pounds and plants him right on his back.
And Des Bryant is back to return the punt of John Ryan. A talented young receiver who says he likes punt returns, but Jerry Jones cautious about his health, and he is brought down inside the 2. Excellent special teams coverage. Kennard Cox getting it done for the Seahawks. We are scoreless in the opening quarter. Cowboys trying to get something going.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Here in Dallas, Tavares Jackson has thrown 3 passes so far, completed 1. No indication of that partial tear in his chest muscle. And second possession for the Cowboys. Romo completes to Miles Austin, sliding for a first down near the 19-yard line.
What a terrific throw. Behind the linebacker in front of the safety. He just lasered that right into Miles Austin. Watch Austin here. He's going to get right behind number 50, KJ Wright, who you'll see come in coverage. Right there. He's trying to hunt up Miles Austin. Perfect throw. And Tony Romo just inside the hash mark.
16-yard pickup. DeMarco Murray. Here come penalty flags as he goes across the 20. Knocked down by Brandon Browner.
Holding offense number 24. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on fullback Tony Fiametta. That'll back up the Cowboys. Another penalty for Dallas. And this will move them back all the way inside the 10-yard line.
Really curious to see how DeMarco Murray does here in this game. You know, last week didn't get a lot of opportunity because they got down so fast against Philadelphia, but a couple of weeks ago here against the Rams, he absolutely torched it and got that rookie record. This guy is an outstanding young back.
1st and 19. Tony Romo to throw and dumps it off. Slipping the tackle is Murray, who gets all the way up across the 25-yard line. DeMarco Murray, who Tony Romo said he's built like a receiver and he runs great pass routes. We just haven't put him in that opportunity.
He has not had enough of an opportunity, and he's a back, so he can break tackles. They get him out of the backfield. He runs by KJ Wright. This cat had 157 receptions in college. I don't know how he lasted the 3rd round, to be honest with you, in the NFL draft. That's the area I really expect them to go to him today, is in the passing game.
And Murray should have the first down up at the 30. After a catch and carry for 17, he moves the chains. He had 253 yards, as Tim mentioned, in that game against the Rams. He's a big MMA guy, says it helps him with conditioning. In fact, Lorenzo Fertitta, who is co-owner of the UFC, kind of looked after him as he was developing as a football player, and he says that has helped him physically, whether he's running or catching the football.
And I think really helps those guys with mental toughness as well, which is a huge part of this game.
Philip Tanner checks in on 1st and 10. The free agent from Middle Tennessee State. Romo, sideline throw, right on target. Des Bryant hauls it in.
Tell you what, Tony Fiametta did a great job in blitz pickup. Watch the fullback. Earl Thomas is blitzing right up the gut. Watch Fiametta stick his face mask right in his chest. Gives Romo the time. There's that isolation matchup I was talking about, and they hit it. Great
so
throw.
A 39-yard pickup and no huddle. Romo rushes him to the line on 1st and 10. Seattle defense looks confused here. Pass is caught. That's Jason Witten at the 25-yard line. Only Romo 5 out of 5 so far on 2nd and 4.
That throw down the sideline to Des Bryant was absolutely perfect. Couldn't throw it any better.
So DeMarco Murray checks back in. Best scoring threat of the game so far in the opening quarter. DeMarco Murray off the pitch and still makes something out of that. Getting near another Dallas first down.
I'll tell you what, Jason Garrett talking about DeMarco Murray is he said we love this guy because he was super productive in a big environment at Oklahoma. And when you bring somebody in from big time school and they have 50, I'm going to say it again, 50 rushing touchdowns, you're darn productive.
And a month ago he was just battling for a backup spot with Tashard Choice, who's no longer here. Now he's starting on 3rd and 1.
Yellow lady.
Murray has it, and a first down Dallas. All the way down to the 7-yard line.
Look at the patience, how he reads these blocks. In particular, watch Montre Holland get out in front, the left guard on a pull, and enough patience and vision. There's a kick out Fiametta, there's a kick out Montre Holland. And Murray does a great job of being patient, using his vision, cutting up inside, and then turning on the Jets. He's impressive.
So a 14-yard run. He checks out. Philip Tanner comes back in on 1st and goal. Tanner carries. And Tanner, the only other running back. You've got Fiametta, the fullback, active in this game.
And when they get down here in the scoring zone, talking to Jason Garrett, Chris, on Friday, I said, what's going on? You guys are one of the worst in the league in scoring points when you get down into the red zone, in the scoring zone. And he made it real simple. He said, look, the bottom line is we got to run the ball better down in the red zone. We got to put a hole in that umbrella zone coverage, and it'll give us a better opportunity if we're multidimensional. We have to run down here.
On 2nd and goal from the 5. Romo. End zone. Miles Austin too high. It'll be 3rd and goal. Well, they have been a big play offense. But when you get into that red zone, that scoring zone area, this is what has happened.
Yeah, and good coverage here by Richard Sherman and using that long body and just getting in that lag position, that trail position on Miles Austin. You talk about the big plays for Dallas, and they have been explosive. Seattle's been equally good, maybe better, Chris, at defending the explosive plays. That's one area where they've excelled this year.
10th play of the drive. Des Bryant out to the left. Miles Austin on the right. Tony Romo slides. And it looks like he's okay. But it'll bring up a 4th down situation. And remember, the guy's playing with bruised ribs, even though he's feeling better. So
bruised. How about fractured?
Fans may have wondered here why he didn't make more of an effort to get to the end zone. And now, Cowboy fans remember the nightmare in the playoffs when Romo was the holder for a go-ahead field goal against Seattle. As Dan Bailey comes on to try a 20-yard field goal, snap, hold, kick, and this time everything goes smoothly, and Dallas breaks a scoreless tie in the opening quarter as they lead 3-0 with 4:25 to go. They miss on a chance for a touchdown.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
For the Cowboys, 96 yards that drive, their longest scoring of the season. That's the good news. Bad news is they only wound up with 3.
Yeah, another missed opportunity, but 11 plays. That's an area, 10-plus play drives. They have been horrific most of the season, so good stuff there.
David Beeler kicks off. And another touchback. In fact, since the NFL this year has kicked off from the 35, nearly 3 times as many touchbacks as Tavares Jackson gets ready to run the Seattle offense down by 3.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Lexus. It's time to engineer amazing. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Pizza Hut. Right now, get any pizza for just $10 only at your Pizza Hut.
Drew Pearson, who will be honored at the Cowboys Ring of Honor, along with Larry Allen and Charles Haley at the half.
Tell you, if your origin of love of football started in the 70s, like mine did, growing up in the 70s, number 88 in the Dallas Cowboys, that was awesome. Fond memories of watching that dude rolling into the end zone.
And Roger Staubach throwing it to him. There's Joe Brown sitting next to him, longtime NFL executive. On first down, it's Marshawn Lynch with a solid first down run. Let's get a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Hey, and let's head down the road to Houston, where the Texans are already rolling over the Browns. Ben Tate takes it in from 27 yards out. Midway through the first quarter, Houston up 14-0 over Cleveland. Chris and Tim, hey, T-Rock, he didn't even mention the afro sticking out of the back of the helmet for Drew Pearson in the 70s.
Yeah, I love it.
Leon Washington checks in on 2nd and 1. Tavares Jackson to throw and completes. Sidney Rice hauls it in for a Seahawk first down.
And that's where Tavares Jackson loves to throw. Numbers to the sidelines to his right. I mean, you look at the numbers, and they are glaring in favor of him. And you see him right there. 114 times out to the right. And he's got a 94 rating out there. That's where he's at his best.
We know he's playing in pain, but Pete Carroll told me after the pregame warm-ups, he says this is the best he's felt since his injury. That's encouraging for Tavares Jackson. Forsett is brought down in a hurry. DeMarcus Ware making the stop.
That's just a great example there of DeMarcus Ware making a play with his eyes. You know, it's not always brawn with the great pass rushers, and make no mistake, he is a great pass rusher. But it's the awareness, and he read that little quick hitch screen out to the left right away and got out there and got in on the tackler. That would have had some positive yards. Very intelligent player is DeMarcus Ware.
Marshawn Lynch on 2nd and 9. It'll be 3rd down. Let's head down to the field, check in with Jamie Maggio for more on Tavares Jackson. Jamie?
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, I spoke to Tavares when he got here today, and I asked him how he was feeling. He said, you know, it's a little tender. It hurts a little bit, but he's going to be fine throughout this game. He did say that he does experience more pain when he has to make those hard throws, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. Thanks, Chris. Back to you.
All right, Jamie, on 3rd down. Tavares Jackson on the run, floats it for Mike Williams, who can't make the catch, and here comes the flag. Alan Ball is back there running with Mike Williams.
Pass interference, defense number 20, automatic first down.
That's all Tavares Jackson extending the play. And look at Alan Ball. He never turns to locate the ball until it's too late. I mean, if you're going to have that contact with a wide receiver, you better have your head turned. You better be trying to locate the ball. And as soon as Mike Williams turned his head, that's the cue, Chris, for a cornerback or a defensive back to also turn his head and try to locate the ball. Contact while you're not looking, they're calling it every time.
23-yard penalty on first down. Here comes Tavares Jackson rolling again, and is going to keep it and slide inside the 30. Dallas already with 4 penalties, and we haven't gotten out of the first quarter. Seahawks' second possession. On Dallas's second possession, they wound up with a lengthy drive and a 3-point field goal here. Now it's 2nd and 6 for the Seahawks from the 30. Sidney Rice on the left, Mike Williams out on the right, and Doug Baldwin checks in.
Time to get Zach Miller going a little bit, the tight end.
Hey, 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. Let's go.
Marshawn Lynch carries. Marshawn Lynch came in averaging 3.5 yards a carry. And we saw Mike Williams earlier. He's back in the starting lineup after he missed 2 of the last 3 games. And last week, Sidney Rice and Ben Obamano each had more than 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, and that was with Tavares Jackson only playing 3 quarters. Charlie Whitehurst started the game, was not very good at all. They didn't even think Tavares was going to play. Inserted him in the second quarter, Chris, and he threw for a career high.
Cowboys use 6 defensive backs on 3rd and 3.
Right there.
Knocked away. It'll be 4th down. Gerald Sensabaugh from a safety spot making the play for the Cowboys.
Watch Sensabaugh. He is just walking really right in the hip pocket of Doug Baldwin, and he's on that one all the way and gets a very nice pass breakup right over the top. That's perfect pass defense.
So it sets up a 45-yard field goal try for Stephen Hauschka, who's 8 of 9. So far this season, he's hit from 52, his longest. And the kick is low and somehow got through. Good from 45 is Stephen Hauschka. We're tied at 3 late in the opening quarter.
Scandrick to the left there. I have him highlighted. He partially blocks this field goal right there. He lays out, stretches out, gets a hand on it. You can see Pete Carroll. There's Orlando there. You can see Pete Carroll on the sideline with that low kick asking what happened. That's exactly what happened. Scandrick got a piece of it.
It still got through, and Hauschka kicking off. Kevin Ogletree back in the end zone, and he's bringing it out. Stopped short of the 12-yard line, and that ends the opening quarter. Seahawks 3, Cowboys 3. Seattle playing tough on the road. We'll be back in just a moment. So far, as we start the second quarter, all with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, Jamie Maggio. Glad you're watching with us from Cowboys Stadium. Tied at 3 on first down. Romo incomplete. Tony Romo, you know, there's an amusement park not far from this stadium, and it's been that kind of roller coaster year. And it was Jason Garrett who said, Tim, that, you know, that he's wrestling between going for the big play, the aggressive, and then managing the game.
Well, all the great quarterbacks, especially in the magnified situations, and I think at the end of the Jets game, I think of the second half against the Detroit Lions, they've got to be aggressive. They've got to pull back. You've got to constantly play that game of when you pull the trigger and try to slam it in there. I'll tell you one thing, though. Go watch the San Francisco game and watch what Romo did in the second half of that one. Basically 1 and 4.
On second down, DeMarco Murray carries out across the 15. And actually, David Hawthorne makes the stop. It was Pete Carroll who talked about, when he went back and watched Tony Romo video from even last year, and talked about how good he is at the line of scrimmage and recognizing defense.
Well, and Pete knows that, and Pete's an outstanding defensive coach. He said that's where Tony Romo is probably the most underrated in terms of his football intelligence and his feel at the line of scrimmage. So many times Tony will go to the line with one play, see the look defensively, which is different than what he expected, and change it up and make an audible.
6 out of 8 so far, closing in on 100 passing yards for Romo on third down, and he's got the first down as Des Bryant makes the catch. And let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
Out the last 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. This is what the Falcons were missing in Julio Jones. Check out this catch. Matt Ryan with the throw, concentration, and catch made by Jones. Originally ruled incomplete. Falcons challenge, and he gets his first NFL touchdown on that one. 50-yard score. Falcons up 14-0 on Indy. Chris and Tim, Alabama could have used that last night too.
One of the great college games going on. We see that battle in the South, Tampa Bay, the Saints leading the Bucs 7-0 as well. Thanks, Kurt. After a gain of 11 on the Romo throw, it's 1st and 10. And Murray had it, dropped it. DeMarco Murray has huge hands. In fact, you know, when he was coming into Oklahoma, Adrian Peterson was going out, and they both have that firm handshake. And he had his hands on that, but couldn't hold on. Now it's 2nd and 10.
And I think when you look at the Cowboys, everyone gets on Tony Romo about not winning in the clutch and being consistent. When has he ever had a consistent, complete running back, really, since he's been here? This may be the guy.
Murray could be that guy. Gets across the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down. Remember, Felix Jones still a couple of weeks away. He was your starter before Murray had to step in, and backed up by Philip Tanner.
I like Felix Jones. He's a good player, and especially with the 3rd down stuff with his electric speed, he's high octane. But just knowing Murray from college, knowing what he is as a runner in between the tackles, the ability to bounce it outside, all the catches that he had in Oklahoma in the passing game. And then that guy's got complete back tagged all over him.
2 tight ends in on 3rd down. Romo's pass hauled in for a 1st down to the 30. Miles Austin again.
Romo is razor sharp. There's the one-on-one coverage that I talked about in the open. Miles Austin goes right by him. Richard Sherman misses on his jam. Because you do not affect the release of Miles Austin and slow him down, there's no way Earl Thomas, the safety, has enough range to get over there. Great route, perfect throw from Tony Romo. That's 2 now between the numbers and the sidelines where Romo has been perfect.
And 2nd catch of the game for Austin. That one picked up 37, so they're down to the 31 of Seattle. And underneath, that's LaRon Robinson. It'll be 2nd and short. So Tony Romo already 141 yards passing. This is a get close to that red zone area. Inside the 20. 2nd down 2 here.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray. 1st down. There's a flag as he went out of bounds. What effort from DeMarco Murray.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 25, half misses to the goal, 1st down.
He called it on Richard Sherman, but it looked like Earl Thomas.
Yeah, it was Earl Thomas. It was Earl Thomas. There was 2 stiff arms from Murray on this play. Look at that vision, cutting back right in the hole. Watch this stiff arm. Bang, right there, knocks him off. Now he tries to give Earl Thomas one. Earl latches onto the face mask.
22-yard run, Tim. It's 1st and goal as DeMarco Murray remains in with 3 tight ends.
Man, that guy is explosive between the tackles.
Romo, incomplete. Back of the end zone for John Phillips, the 3rd tight end.
Well, he wanted to go to Jason Witten is who he wanted to go to, and KJ Wright was just gloved up on him and just had him locked down. That was Tony Romo's first look, was to his tight end, Jason Witten. And here's the other side. There's Phillips, who he ends up secondarily trying to get it to, but it was Witten who he wanted.
DeMarco Murray. No.
All right, let's go.
A swarm of Seahawks kept him out of the end zone. It's 3rd and goal. There's a key down here because just the mental part of, as you talked about, getting into the red zone, getting touchdowns. And now, after a 1st and goal from the 1, it's 3rd and goal from the just outside the 1.
I'll tell you what makes it difficult to throw. A lot of people love to throw the fade route down here. I think they're going to run it. Those big corners make that almost impossible.
Romo's in trouble. He spins out of it for the end zone. Incomplete. Jason Witten was back there in the corner. And nickelback Atari Bigby is all over him.
Watch Bigby come flying in, number 27. There he is. Pete Carroll loves to blitz anytime they're down with their backs against the wall in the red zone. Good job by Romo just eluding that, and really just a prayer trying to throw it up to Witten, who was covered well by Earl Thomas.
Romo to hold again. It's a win for the Seattle defense.
Absolutely it is.
A 19-yard field goal try. We'll call it closer to 20. And no consideration given by Jason Garrett to go for it here. Instead, the Cowboys settle for 3. So into the second quarter, Pete Carroll's defense getting pushed around, but they don't allow Dallas in the end zone.
This game is sponsored by the Droid Razor. Thin is no longer frail, only at Verizon. By Citizen Echo Drive. Fueled by light, it never needs a battery. Unstoppable. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Cowboys with a 6-3 advantage here in the second quarter. Tony Romo in the red zone. They threw it 2 out of 3 times when they got down there.
Yeah, and what got him down there was a couple of big explosive runs by DeMarco Murray. If they were going to run it, I would have preferred that they spread it and try to run it inside the 5-yard line.
Leon Washington loses the football. Back on it, but the Seahawks will be in a hole. And there's a flag on a late push.
It's Jesse Holley that came in there and
threw somebody to the ground.
Yeah, he did. Probably retaliating, and it's always the second guy that gets the flag thrown on him.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 16 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty added at the end of the play. Automatic first down, timeout.
Joe D. Camillus giving it to Holley because that'll get the Seahawks out of the hole they were in after the botched return.
Bora right there, number 54. He's going to reach in and rip at McCrary to pull him off. He's pulling at him. Now, Jesse Holley's not having it. He grabs it and then basically just clubs him across the face right in front of McCauley for the stupid penalty.
On first down, Marshawn Lynch carries for the Seahawks. The Cowboys 5 penalties so far for 57 yards. And there is Jesse Holley guilty of the infraction.
And you know why Joe DeCamillis was upset. I mean, you get those guys deep in their own territory, whether you do it by coverage or they have a miscue and muff it. You want to smash them down inside and keep them in there.
Instead, they're out to the
right there, and Jesse Holley gives them the opportunity to put it out to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, instead of being backed up inside their own 5, it's 2nd and 7. For Sidney Rice, and out of bounds, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down for the Seahawks. It's an NFL doubleheader day on Fox. We're glad you're watching the National Football League. America's Game of the Week coming up. Giants, Patriots. Cowboy fans will be watching closely. The leaders of the NFC East there. Packers and Chargers. And then the Rams and the Cardinals with beat-up quarterbacks. The story in that one.
Tell you, so far so good for Seattle and their offensive line on DeMarcus Ware. Came into the game with 12 sacks, had 4 last week against Philadelphia. 7 pass attempts. He has not gotten a sniff on Tavares Jackson.
Third and 7. Sidney Rice could not hold on. Terrence Newman, the 2-time Pro Bowler, was right there with him.
That's a good play by Newman. Here's how they'll handle DeMarcus Ware. They're going to chip him with the tight end first. Zach Miller on his way out, and then Okung will step out and pick him up. And that's the closest he's gotten to the quarterback in 8 pass attempts. But those are the things they'll do. They'll change it up with a running back, with a tight end. All day long, you'll see 2 guys, at least for Seattle, working to block DeMarcus Ware.
So Des Bryant back to receive the John Ryan punt. And he has it inside the 15. Stop short of the 19-yard line. There is a flag on the field with 9:15 to go. Down to the 17-yard line. It's been a battle of field goals so far.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking team number 41.
Called on Byron Maxwell. which will help the Cowboys with field position. We'll try and figure out just how unsportsmanlike he was in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
All right, so Byron Maxwell did not make an effort to come back in bounds, so that's who the penalty is on. He's been replaced on the special teams unit by Coach Pete Carroll, and the Cowboys with the option wanted the re-kick, so Des Bryant standing back inside his 40.
Now, why wouldn't you? Seattle all year long has been horrible in terms of their punt coverage, giving up some touchdowns. So Des Bryant, as you know, 2 returns for touchdowns last year. This guy is an electric punt returner.
And there's a reason he's out there returning punts. Cowboys looking for a spark with a 6-3 lead. So Ryan in his own end zone. Pushes Bryant back to the 20, but room to run. Fighting across the 30-yard line, and the Seahawks coverage unit much improved after a 66-yard punt and a 10-yard return. UFC Championship, we talked about that on Fox. A title fight live, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Coming up Saturday, and we hope you tune in. I mentioned that front row for a lot of UFC fights, DeMarco Murray, who so far in this game 8 carries, 54 yards, including a 22-yard run.
I got solid.
Murray has it, and up the sideline. That's his 3rd catch of the game. Even though the Cowboys are leading, you get the impression this is the way Seattle kind of wants things here. Low scoring.
They're holding them to field goals. I mean, that's a major bonus. Now, the Cowboys, you look at, have had the ball 10 plays longer and have owned Seattle with the clock and time of possession. And they've been pretty good at that all year, that being Dallas, with the exception of last week where they were doubled up in time of possession and almost doubled up in play opportunities against Philadelphia.
They need 2 as Murray gets a first down. DeMarco Murray inside the 30 of Seattle. A 32-yard run.
And look at this natural crease right here. DeMarco Murray's vision is so darn good. They double off the defensive tackle. Montre Holland gets the kick out on the pull. And DeMarco Murray's patience. Look at the kick out block right there, and the patience and the vision to make a cut on that safety. This guy is impressive.
For a moment, it looked like the 91-yard run against the Rams.
Same play. Isolation play up inside to the right side. That was terrific.
Philip Tanner as Murray gets a breather.
And I'll tell you what's so impressive about it is Seattle has stymied the run all year long. I mean, 3.2 yards per carry is what they've allowed. Look at that. Look at that average for DeMarco Murray. Seattle 3.2, the best in the NFL per rush. Murray is slicing and dicing him for almost 10 yards per carry.
And he came into the game averaging 6.9 yards a carry. On 2nd and 4, this is Tanner again. What a hit levied by Cam Chancellor.
That is an explosion hit by a 6'4", 235-pound safety, Cam Chancellor, who just meets Tanner head up. Listen to this. Oh. Couldn't believe how big that guy was, Cam Chancellor, when he walked into our production meetings yesterday.
He looked bigger than 6'3", and to the line without a huddle on 3rd down of the Cowboys. Romo, Des Bryant. Ball's out. Seahawks have it at the goal line. The ball came out and Roy Lewis came up with it.
Everything is great until the end. There's that slant route. Inside, Earl Thomas in a trail position. Now here's the hit. Bang, right there. Richard Sherman rocks him. That ball comes out.
The goal line. Richard Sherman paused it, and Roy Lewis recovered. The Cowboys were prepared to challenge, wondering if he was down.
Yeah, and you see the shin is down, but the ball had come out just before the left shin had touched down on the turf. See if Jason Garrett wants to review this or if they're just going to let it go. Wants a challenge.
And here comes the challenge.
Yeah, it was really, really close.
Ball's at the 6-yard line. Ruling on the field, Seattle football, fumble and recovered by the Seahawks.
Tell you what, Tony Romo is on fire.
He went to the sideline steaming.
Well, not only is he steaming like that, but he's on fire with his arm and his accuracy.
Dallas has challenged that the runner was down by contact prior to losing control of football. Timeout.
Des Bryant's first fumble, and it's a big one as we take another look. 6-3 Cowboys leading. This play is being challenged.
After review, the ball was knocked loose prior to any part of the runner's leg being on the ground. The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Seattle. Dallas is charged with their first timeout.
Tell you, first of all, I think Terry McCauley's the best in the business for the officials, and the job that these guys do is amazing how they get it right. You see the ball just coming dislodged before the left shin of Des Bryant touches on the ground, holding that ball loose, and Richard Sherman puts his helmet right on it.
So each team now with 2 timeouts. That was a 22-yard gain before Bryant lost the football.
There's 3 opportunities for 6 points, touchdowns for Dallas. They've come up short all 3 times.
Marshawn Lynch moving the pile. We have not had a sack in this football game. The Seahawks quarterbacks have been sacked 28 times. Worst in the NFL coming in. So now it's second down.
I'll tell you what I think has helped him is really having Coach Tommy Cable back in the mix. He had back surgery early in the year. And Pat Rule was doing most of the coaching, and he's certainly a very good coach, but having Tom Cable, and there's Big Tom right there, back in the mix, feeling better after that back surgery, I think it's been big for the Seahawks offensive line.
Former Raider head coach, extra defensive backs in on 2nd and 3. Lynch, first down. All the way out across the 32-yard line for Marshawn Lynch. A 19-yard run.
And he just runs right through the arm tackle of Kenyon Coleman. Kenyon Coleman does a terrific job of squeezing down. Watch 99 right here. He'll squeeze down to make the tackle, but he doesn't get his head in front of Marshawn Lynch right there and just sticks an arm out. And Lynch runs right through it.
Leon Washington checks in. Fresh set of downs for Seattle, trailing by a field goal. Washington carries. A little speed, but the Cowboys are there in a hurry. Brady James from his linebacker spot. Remember the 2 defensive starters out with Mike Jenkins and Sean Lee on this Dallas defense.
I'll tell you one thing I'm surprised about is that we haven't seen any of the no huddle really out of the Seattle Seahawks, where Tavares Jackson has functioned terrifically in that situation, especially on the road this year.
Hand off to Washington, and he's got room and slips inside the 46-yard line for another Seahawk first down.
I think James Carpenter just got away with a hold on Kenyon Coleman.
10-yard run, so it's 1st and 10 for the Seahawks. You know, when we talked to Tavares Jackson, we had met with him earlier in the year, and he seemed much more, I don't know if it's confident, he was in pain, but a little more in control with things.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he knows this is his team now, and certainly feels comfortable with the guys around him. They've all really tried to digest this new offense together.
Lynch, nowhere to go. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Matt Ryan has only 3 completions in this game, but 2 of them are to this guy for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Julio Jones, a 50-yard score earlier. This an 80-yard touchdown, but Ryan also just threw a pick to Indianapolis, return for a touchdown, so it's now 21-6. Colts in a big hole.
Here's the no huddle. Tavares Jackson's pass to Baldwin is complete down at the 32-yard line of Dallas. You just mentioned something Tavares was comfortable with, and he went right to it.
And they're going to stay with it right now. And it's a great option for these guys. Tavares is very good at the line of scrimmage. It really forces some vanilla coverages by the defense. This is where he's been at his best, Chris, this year.
Marshawn Lynch carries after that 24-yard completion. Victor Butler makes the stop, and he also said it helps take the crowd. They get tired of screaming the more you run to the line. But of course, the crowd here at this palatial stadium haven't been able to get too charged up because the Cowboys haven't provided a lot of big offensive plays, at least when it comes to getting into the end zone.
Yeah, it's not electrically loud in here, is it? And this is where you want your crowd to absolutely go off, is when you got your defense on the field.
Jackson in the neighborhood of Lynch and incomplete. Excellent defense by the Cowboys there, forcing a third down. So Tavares Jackson playing with the partial tear of the chest.
Tell you what's amazing, when you got a torn pectoral muscle like that, your right, chest muscle, your pec, that thing could go at any time now. And you hear a lot of them in the league. Oh, he's got a torn pec, he's got a torn chest, and then the really tagged onto that is here comes the surgery. So he's out there playing with an injury that could really go on him at any time, Chris.
And here they come on 3rd and 10. Jackson's nice catch caught by Mike Williams in traffic. And he's indicating first down, and it is a Seattle first down.
And the Cowboys send an extra guy right here. Frank Walker in pressure. Watch the in cut. Great ball location and a terrific catch by big Mike Williams in traffic. Ball up high where only Mike could go get it. Good read by Tavares, seeing the blitzer Frank Walker coming up inside, knowing he was going to have that open window to throw the football.
Just short of the 21-yard line on 1st and 10. Leon Washington carries, picking up 4.5 yards before Anthony Spencer knocks him down, and that should be the 2-minute warning here. In a battle of field goals, Pete Carroll's defense on the road doing its job. Now the offense is on the move.
The other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Des Bryant's fumble at the goal line has put the Cowboy defense on the spot. 2nd and 7 from the 17. Remember, this drive started at the Seattle 6-yard line. And Marshawn Lynch carries. It'll bring up 3rd down. The Seahawks have not led at half in a game this year, even though they've won a couple of games. And that win on the road against the Giants was impressive.
Absolutely impressive, and could have easily had one in that field goal game against Cleveland where they had a punt return for a touchdown that was called back. So these guys have circled the wagon and come together on the road and have played well, really, since the game at Pittsburgh where they got slammed early in the season.
On 3rd and 3.
4 down. Hey, 4 men, 4 men.
Tavares Jackson and overthrows Sidney Rice. Cowboys had 6 defensive backs in. It'll be 4th down.
You see a lot of that empty formation by this football team, which means nobody in the backfield with Tavares Jackson. When you do that, you better be able to block guys like DeMarcus Ware. And Russell Okung does a good job there. Tavares just let it go late and overthrew Sidney Rice.
So House gone to try a field goal. This will be 32 yards. He made one earlier that was blocked by Skandrick and still made it through. This one, snap hold, and it's through for a 6 all time.
I'll tell you what, Tavares just locked on Sidney Rice because he had a wide open receiver for the first down over on the sideline. Want this one back. There's the corner route. Keep in mind, there's the first down. He's on Sidney Rice the whole way. Watch the out route by Mike Williams. Both defensive backs go with Sidney Rice, and look at, I mean, there is nobody around Mike Williams who's past the first down stick.
Yeah, and he realized he missed the big 6'5" receiver. Maybe a product of missing practice this week because of the injury. He threw on Wednesday, but not on Thursday. Threw on Friday, and then was able to throw in pregame warmups. So each team with a missed opportunity for the end zone. We're tied at 6. Hauschka. for Ogletree, who will wisely stay in the end zone. So Tony Romo bring the Cowboys out to the 20-yard line. 2 timeouts and just over a minute to play. Coming up, the Visa halftime report. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, all the folks in the control room will make sure we have all the scores and highlights from you, including a big matchup between the Jets and the Bills. But of course, in this economy, guys, the more you can do, the more important you'll have. See, prime example. Back to you.
That was a good promo until the end. And then it became kind of
quiet,
scary.
he'll cross kick you.
That's right. Speaking of UFC and MMA, on 1st and 10 from the 20. Mason Witten short of the first down. Bryant with 3 catches in the game. DeMarco Murray also has 3 on 2nd and 1.
Boy, Ogletree's out there. I wonder if Miles Austin is all right. Why isn't he on the field?
We'll check on that. Romo, the pass to Murray. And there he goes for a big gain and a first down across the 42-yard line. DeMarco Murray has run for 86 yards. And the Cowboys are going to use one of their 2 timeouts remaining after that 13-yard gain.
And I'm hearing from the guys down in our truck who do a great job right now that Miles Austin's got a hamstring. And he's questionable
and he
to
had a
return.
hamstring earlier in the year.
That's what forced him to miss a couple of games. And without him, they are a different offense in terms of their passing game.
Our thanks to Jamie Maggio down on the sideline. She'll have a halftime report and follow up on the injury to Miles Austin, and rather observant of you with all that's going on up here.
Well, in a critical situation, you look out there and their best receiver's not on the field, and you got to figure there's something going on.
So there is Lauren Robinson and Jesse Holley, and we're going to take a look on the catch where it may have happened, that sideline throw.
Oh yeah, you see him right there? Just as he caught the ball down the sideline and started to accelerate. Looks like something gave out on him in the hamstring.
On first down, Romo has to get rid of it, and that's the first time today he's been knocked down. Well, there was no flag as Raheem Brock was in on him. It'll be second down. 1 timeout for the Cowboys. The Seahawks have 2 remaining.
And that's the guy, Brock, that's really got to get going. And Pete Carroll talked about it. He said he's really, really close. But last year, this is a guy that gave him 9 sacks, really as a situational pass rusher. Coming into the game today, in 7 games, he's only got 1. It's really been Chris Clemens and who else. They have not been able to get consistent rush from anybody. And that guy right there, Raheem Brock's got to be the one.
DeMarco Murray, who's become a receiver as well as a runner for Dallas. On second down. Romo, sideline caught. That's Des Bryant trying to get out of bounds, and he does, but he's short of the first down. Des Bryant in his 2nd year. Romo said he's a big kid. He's passionate. When you see that emotion.
How did he describe him? He said he's gummy bears and soda pop all the time with a big smile on his face.
And no malice, just high energy.
Just a big innocent kid.
He wasn't ready for that snap, it looked like, but Romo alertly grabbed it and threw incomplete for Bryant. It'll be 4th down, and Brandon Browner was covering. Visa halftime report coming up with all the scores and highlights. The Saints and Bucks battling. Atlanta big over the Colts, and the 49ers playing in Washington. All the highlights, and Miami trying to get its first win of the year.
I got to tell you, how good was Terry's daughter, Terry Bradshaw, singing the national anthem? I had chicken skin up here listening to her. She was awesome.
Rachel Bradshaw, yes, brought the house down.
Much better looking than Pops, too, by the way.
And a better voice, too. At least he has the football knowledge. So Chris Jones back to punt. Remember, in for the injured Matt McBride. Waving off. This kick will roll out of bounds inside the 10. You know, you said at the top that the Dallas defense would bounce back under Rob Ryan after that Eagle game last week, and they've certainly, the Cowboys defensively, have done their part today.
Well, they have certainly in the passing game when you talk about that, but when you talk about running the football, again, they've been subpar. They have not been very good. Over 5 yards a carry for the Seattle Seahawks in this game, who really came in with an ineffective run game for most of the season. So that area's got to get better for the Cowboys.
Pete Carroll wanted 18 touches for Marshawn Lynch, and so far he has 11. And there is Charles Haley. Now, the number 94, DeMarcus Ware, said it was just by chance that I wore that. But certainly Haley has teased me about it, as the Seahawks are happy to let the clock run out And at the half, they will honor Charles Haley with Larry Allen and Drew Pearson in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. So at the half, the Seahawks and Cowboys are tied here in Texas, getting ready for the start of the third quarter halftime ceremony here. 3 more members in the Ring of Honor. Guard Larry Allen, Charles Haley, the great defensive star, and Drew Pearson, 88, the terrific receiver. So that makes 20 members. And Roger Staubach, one of those guys who got the ball to Drew Pearson. 20 members in the Ring of Honor. Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, proud to present those players who helped build the great tradition of the Dallas Cowboys. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Palatial Cowboys Stadium.
Yeah, do me a favor. Call me Mick for the rest
Mick?
of the
Why is
second
that?
half. Well, I feel like a rock star up here. It's like Mick Jagger in this place.
This is
unbelievable.
The 4 seasons of NFL stadiums, but the Cowboys want to ignite the crowd, get into the end zone.
Well, they need to, and that's been their issue. Is they have moved the ball. They've doubled up Seattle in terms of total yards. They've got over 300 yards of offense already in this game, but Seattle defensively has tightened the screws down in the red zone, and of course the Dez Bryant fumble on the 1-yard line, really the difference in this game.
The only turnover of the game. Both of these teams in the negative area of turnover ratio coming into the game. And Leon Washington from his end zone. There's a flag thrown back at the 13-yard line.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 55, half the distance to the goal, first down.
So Heath Farwell called for the penalty, and the Seahawks will take over deep in their own territory. Tim Ryan and Chris Myers, as we come to you from Cowboys. Yeah, I'll call you Mick if that's what you want.
Just call me Mick, will you?
All right, so the Cowboys, we said that these two teams are trying to define themselves. This is the halfway point. I don't know if we've gotten any further along than when we started the game. Are they a playoff team or not? Are they playing like
Well, again, I think you look at the Cowboys, their passing game has been terrific. The run game with DeMarco Murray, I think, has been outstanding. It's been the lack of the red zone production, which has been a problem all year long, and they have been able to run the ball down in that area with some effectiveness. So give Seattle defense some credit down there.
Well, the Dallas defense has kept the Seahawks out of the end zone, but the Cowboys heavy favorites in this home game, especially after what happened last week and that embarrassing loss to the Eagles.
Absolutely, and that thing got left-handed so fast. There were 9 plays in that game. They were down 21-0. So listen, here's one thing that you got to appreciate if you're a Seattle fan, and there's Tom Cable, the offensive line coach. That young offensive line's coming together. DeMarcus Ware has not gotten to the quarterback. They have not given up any sacks, and they're rushing for over 5 yards a carry.
And there goes Marshawn Lynch across the 25-yard line. First down, Seahawks. A 16-yard run. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry.
And right up the gut, too. And watch Robert Gallery. Let's watch his block on Marcus Spears. And there's the block right there. Spears can't disengage. Bruce Carter, who's getting in the mix for the first time on defense, number 54, has got to be able to scrape over the top and make that tackle in the hole.
Justin Forsett checks in, and he can fly. Gets across the 35-yard line near another first down. That's with those 2 young offensive linemen, John Moffitt and James Carpenter, the rookies, on 2nd and 1. Let's check in on the field with Jamie Maggio.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, I asked Jason Garrett about Miles Austin. He confirmed the pulled hamstring. He says we'll see if he can go, but if he can't, the rest of these guys need to be ready to play. As for the red zone effectiveness, he said, yeah, Seattle's been able to stop us, but that Dez Bryant fumble really hurt. He's got to do a better job locking up the ball. As for Pete Carroll, he says we haven't played the run nearly as well. We'll do a better job in the second half. And on offense, he referenced Sidney Rice dropping that catch. He says, look, we have to make those catches, convert on 3rd down. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Jamie. As Justin Forsett carries, there's a flag and a holding call on Robert Gallery. So that'll back up the Seahawks. Cowboys with 5 penalties in the first half, and now that's the 5th accepted on Seattle. So it'll be 2nd and 11.
If you're Pete Carroll, you're loving the way you're running the football, because I said it earlier, in the 2 wins, they had the win over Arizona and they had the win at the New York Giants. Both of those games, Chris, the run game paced them offensively and were big keys in the victory.
Forsett remains the back. And He is knocked down hard. Jason Hatcher got to the 5'8" running back and knocked him into the turf. It'll be third down.
Look, if you're going to run the zone play, you've got to eliminate penetration. Watch the penetration here by Jason Hatcher. He is going to slice right through the two offensive linemen. And that's why the zone run, you want to tighten those splits up. Those splits were a little wide. And Jason Hatcher with big-time penetration gets a big tackle for loss, Chris, and look, forces a 3rd and 12.
They need to get to the 36-yard line. Incomplete, intended for Doug Baldwin. It'll be 4th down. Seattle forced to punt.
Bruce Carter was sniffing 6 points. Watch him undercut this route, the rookie linebacker. Almost gets himself an interception, and he came off the PUP list, came in, drafted high with a torn ACL. Really played mostly special teams last week. He's getting his first real action on defense, and it looks pretty good.
Kevin Ogletree back to return the punt. Remember, Des Bryant did that in the first half for Dallas. They'll need more of him with Miles Austin's hamstring. And the kick bounces. Here comes a flag thrown by the official over at the 35-yard line.
There's the hat off again.
56-yard punt. And looked like the same thing with Maxwell, Byron Maxwell, who got called for going out of bounds and not making an effort to come back
this
in.
time it looked like he got tripped up by Alan Ball, who's pushing him out of bounds. He's got to fight his way back in, and that's why the hat comes off by the side judge. If you get pushed out by those guys that are vicing you up, you've got to fight in.
Kicking team number 41 went out of bounds and not returned immediately. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. 1st down, Dallas. Timeout.
And here it is right here. They get Maxwell out of bounds. Now he has got to fight his way back in. You can't keep running down the white stripe. The official throws the hat, then the flag.
Back with Chase Freedom and by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Tight game here at Cowboys Stadium. The Dallas defense doing its job, but a battle of field goals so far. First possession of the second half for Tony Romo with DeMarco Murray in the backfield. Towards the sideline, and catches made. LaRon Robinson making the grab. And a defensive struggle so far.
Well, certainly, and I think if you're Seattle defensively, you got to stop missing so many tackles. They got 9 missed tackles. We talked about the Cowboys, so many of them last week. They got that shored up. Look at the total yards difference, 307 to 134. DeMarco Murray has been his own best blocker, just cutting through those defenders by the Seahawks.
And Murray is trying to cut through, and he does a nice job for a 1st down near midfield.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. 2 more missed tackles on DeMarco Murray. If you're a Cowboy fan, you are loving this dude. He's going to start to the left, 2 missed tackles, 1 there and then 1 there, and then he's going to escape for a big 1st down. There's the first missed tackle. There's the second missed tackle.
6 feet, 225 pounds, and he's rushed for 94 yards. He also has 4 catches. 1st down midfield, DeMarco Murray. And the Seahawks are right on him this time. Alan Branch with the tackle.
I mean, you think how good Tony Romo is in the passing game when he's got his full arsenal of weapons. And he's already short one today with Miles Austin having an injury to the hamstring. But you give him the support of a bona fide rushing attack. I mean, a big-time back that you can count on week in and week out. You watch out his numbers, and his victories right behind it soar.
Philip Tanner comes in as Murray takes a breather. On 2nd and 9, he has to get rid of it quickly, and Romo connects to LaRon Robinson. It'll be 3rd and short for the Cowboys.
Tony is so good at the line of scrimmage and really keeping his eyes open and surveying everything. He knows there's a free defender coming and he can't get to him. So he's just going to throw the quick out. There's the free defender. Get the ball, 1 hitch, deliver it on time, on target, and pick up 6 yards.
On 3rd and 4, 220 yards so far for Romo. His career passing average per game, 270. Rather impressive. And Tony's going to run for a first down and get it.
Well, that's how you bust down man coverage. Tony Romo doesn't run a lot, like one time a game coming into this one, but he knows right away with this, it's man coverage. Roy Lewis is going to drop into man coverage. Defenders have their backs turned to Tony Romo. He is going to turn on the jets. There's the other side, man coverage. Look at all the blue jerseys with their backs to the quarterback. Tony sees the man coverage and picks up a huge first down.
An 11-yard run for Romo. Jason Witten. That's a touchdown, Cowboys.
Tell you another thing about Tony Romo. When there's a busted coverage, Chris, he doesn't miss. He locked into that so fast as Jason Witten came free, nobody around him, and throws a perfect ball.
Little time to celebrate as he's in to hold for Bailey's extra point. And the Cowboys snap out of a battle of field goals. It was starting to look like LSU Alabama around here, but 33 yards. Romo to Witten. Jason's 4th touchdown catch of the year.
Right here is the guy that's supposed to run with Jason Witten. He's got help here, and he just turns him loose. Witten runs to the outside, and there's no way Earl Thomas, who's playing deep middle in the middle of the field, could ever get to Jason Witten. There's nobody within 10 or 15 yards of Jason, and like I said, Tony Romo's not going to miss when his favorite target is that wide open.
And Romo with his 12th touchdown pass of the year and a 13-6 Cowboy lead. Leon Washington will take it into the end zone and or keep the ball there. Seahawks will start at the 20 after the hometown Cowboys get the first touchdown of the game. Since 2006, nobody's been better than Jason Witten at that tight end position in the NFL.
He's just so reliable, and what he does is he's not the fastest guy out there, but again, he can read coverage. He finds the open spot like we just saw there and really uses that big body, Chris, to his advantage.
Jackson to throw on first down, and Mike Williams has the catch up near the 40-yard line. Miles Austin with the hamstring is out of his uniform, done for the day. He had a couple of catches for the Cowboys, talking to Des Bryant, who's smiling now after that costly turnover in the first half, but the Romo to Witten touchdown has the Cowboys on top. After a 19-yard catch by Williams, Lynch the back on first down, and he gets the carry, and the Cowboys are there to get it. Can the Seahawks still be patient with the run?
You bet they can. They're down a touchdown. There's still early in this game, 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's by far the best thing they've done offensively in this game at over 5 yards a carry. So I expect them to stick with it. And what that'll do is Dallas will start inserting that extra guy up into the run box, that extra safety. And then we'll see if Tavares Jackson can take advantage with his wideouts one-on-one out on the perimeter.
Here comes a flag.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's on Robert Gallery, and that'll be the 8th penalty of this game on the Seahawks. Tavares Jackson, 2 of his last 3 games have been over 300 yards. So if he has to air it out, we're assuming that the pain isn't so bad. That's something he's capable of doing.
Well, and the thing you got to worry about is that chest muscle cooling down and the adrenaline, going on rest mode during halftime when you go in there for 12 to 15 minutes. The first throw to Mike Williams looks like that thing's okay. But again, these long down and distance situations has put him in bad spots. They've been awful on third down.
5 wide receivers for Sidney Rice. He's got it. With Terrence Newman back there, but Rice had a step, waited for the ball, and a big gain for the Seahawks all the way down at the 20. Here they are hustling up to the line. We'll call it a gain of 44 yards.
That's exactly what I was talking about with the one-on-one matchup. He got it, he found it, he exploited it. Perfect throw.
And quickly, Jackson almost walked right into a sack, throws to Baldwin, who makes the catch. And Anthony Spencer was right there in the face of Jackson.
It's amazing. Tavares Jackson with a torn chest muscle on his right side in some of the platforms that he's throwing from. And those are the ones I know that affect him more in terms of the pain, where his body's contorted one way and he's trying to whip it out with pressure in his face. Really impressive.
Hey, 5-6.
Marshawn Lynch knocked down at the 20. It'll bring up third down for the Seahawks. DeMarcus Ware in on the tackle. Still have not had a sack by either defense in this game.
Well, they're doing a lot of different things to DeMarcus Ware to try to keep him off balance, and most of it has two guys blocking him.
Why do I think of the Big Lebowski every time I see Rob Ryan? All right, 3rd and 7 for Seattle. They're in field goal range. They trail by 7.
They got to call a timeout here. Lynch late getting on the field.
First time out of this half called by the Seahawks, trailing in Texas. Tim Ryan, Chris Spires, glad you're with us on third down. They're 1 for 6 so far. Justin Forsett the back with 6 defensive backs for the Cowboys. The pass is thrown right into coverage as Ben Obomanu made the catch, but Scandrick was already all over him.
That was a great job by Orlando Scandrick, who got a little shaken up on the play. Watch Scandrick right here. Here's Obomanu, the guy who ends up coming in for the little hitch, but 32 just gets right up in his hip, reading that little route combination, just waiting for Tavares Jackson to throw it. Good play.
And limping off the field after a Seattle timeout, that was the best they could come up with, so a 41-yard field goal try. Hauska, the kick is blocked. Scandrick blocked one earlier that went through, and it looked like Anthony Spencer got his arms up on that one.
Yeah, first he got his body up because he hopped over the offensive line. Are you kidding me? He jumps right over the center of the offensive line. Here he is. Watch him jump and land and then get the block. Watch this. Boing, over the top. There's the hurdle of the center and then swats it. Wow.
Was he a hurdler back at Purdue?
Well, he was here today. That is perfect, untouched. And that's such a great play because you can't line up on the center anymore. By NFL rules, right? You got to be outside of the center. So you line up off of him, and Spencer just hurdles right over the top of him. That is a big play.
You can't use another player to elevate yourself, so he just went right over him.
I'm telling you, it's the beard. Gave him the extra lift.
So on first down, Tony Romo, sideline throw, and almost intercepted. Richard Sherman was back there covering, and it was intended for Dez Bryant. The holder, you're the holder, this is the way you see it. That's
Here's
John
your vantage point right here. John Ryan. All right, I'm going to put this ball down here. Look at 93. Oh, my goodness. That's an incredible play.
And all Hauska can do is kick it and hope for the best.
I promise you, I can't remember the last time I saw a defensive end / outside linebacker make a play like that athletic. Really awesome.
DeMarco Murray on second down. That's his 12th carry of the game, nearing 100 yards rushing. He has 4 catches for 47 yards as well. So now third down for the Cowboys. Playing off the momentum of a touchdown throw to Jason Witten and then a blocked field goal. They need 8 up to the 41. 7 defensive backs in on defense for Pete Carroll.
What? Where you going? You want to inside?
The blitz is picked up, and Romo stumbles, throws, completes. No, he couldn't hang on. Jason Witten had it, and it would have been enough for a first down.
Super play by Cam Chancellor, because Witten did have it, but he reached under it, looked like with his left arm, and just punched it out.
Chancellor said he's a crafty guy, Witten. He uses his body, and he had a challenge all day running up against him.
And talked about that matchup. That's big on big, because we talked about Chancellor. He's every bit of 6'4", 235 pounds.
So Chris Jones will come in to punt. Has done a steady job for his first NFL game. As Leon Washington waits for the fair catch right at the 25-yard line, and there's a flag. Back at the 40-yard line. It's a 42-yard punt and no return.
Kick, holding, receiving team number 53. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Chris, you talked about it in the open of the game today, that Pete Carroll said we have not been able to get out of our own way. Perfect example of it right there with their 8th penalty of the afternoon.
And they weren't able to get out of Spencer's way either.
Means in terms of a win or a loss.
And a favorable schedule in the second half for the Cowboys, but they have to win today to make that matter. Marshawn Lynch carries and fighting hard in that beast mode. Anthony Spencer made the tackle, all 6'3", 260 of him. He had that blocked kick, the second blocked kick or field goal this year for Dallas. Gerald Sensabaugh had one against the Redskins earlier.
Chris, watch the big rookie right here. When you're going to run off tackle, you need a down block. Look at the definition here of a down block. I mean, he just plants Kenyon Coleman on the ground. James Carpenter has been maligned all year. Really early in the year, he's going to be a very good player.
Lynch again, and that extra effort may have gotten him the first down as he falls forward, and he did get it for the Seahawks. Get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL now. So from just short of the 33, the Seahawks with a fresh set of downs, 2.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Yep. He's staying there.
Tavares Jackson wide open. Anthony McCoy. The backup tight end gets all the way down inside the 41 of Dallas.
And all the Cowboy defenders are staring at each other going, what happened? I mean, ran right behind Keith Brookie, and here's the route. There's McCoy. Watch him get to the open field. Brady James gets no depth. The safeties are in no man's land. Gerald Sensabaugh, who made the tackle, was about 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. It's a broken coverage for the Cowboys, Chris, on the back end.
And a gain of 31. Jackson has to get rid of it. It's intercepted. Picked off by Jason Hatcher.
What a play. Watch this guy right here, 95. Lissamore, he's the one who tips it. It's good initial pressure by DeMarcus Ware, who's fighting, but watch 95. Keep your eyes on this guy right here. Now, you couldn't see it from that shot, but Tavares unloads the ball, hits Lissamore, pounces up in the air, and Hatcher intercepts it. You see that? It hit him right in the arm, up in the air. Hatcher gets it off the deflection. What a play.
And we saw Charlie Whitehurst warming up moments ago. That may be an alternative choice here if Tavares Jackson is hurting. So the big turnover by the Dallas defense from the 40 of Seattle. Tony Romo for Jason Witten, and just does overthrow. Witten already with 3 catches in the game with a touchdown, and there is Tavares Jackson frustrated with Charlie Whitehurst.
What'd you say? 180.
Seahawks are pointing at Des Bryant and saying he can't do that. But the Cowboys call a timeout. Some confusion on offense. They'll have 2 remaining here.
A lot of fun talking to Jason Garrett the other day. You know, one thing that just resonates when you talk to him is the passion for the star. You know, I mean, he's calculated, he's systematic, he's disciplined. He drives these guys, grinds them in practice, full pads on Wednesdays. But there's a passion for that star that comes out when you talk to him it's really obvious.
He saw it again with Mike Krzyzewski. He went to visit Duke. You know, Grant Hill, his father, Calvin Hill, a great Cowboy, set it up at the end of last year, and he spent a weekend with Mike Krzyzewski watching Duke basketball and said he couldn't write enough notes. He learned so much about coaching, dealing with players, handling situations.
Yeah, he gave us about a 20-minute dissertation of one example, and he said there was hundreds of them from spending 3 days with Coach K in the Duke program.
DeMarco Murray. And with that, should hit the 100-yard mark on his 13th carry.
Think about how impressive that is. With Seattle's run defense, Chris, they haven't given up a 100-yard rusher all season.
And that's the second in DeMarco Murray's career. The Cowboys have found a star at running back.
No question.
On 3rd down. That's low for Jason Witten. And he was able to somehow make the catch.
Outstanding catch. They're going to run up and red ball this thing, which is their no huddle. Romo calls it red ball at the line of scrimmage.
A 23-yard gain.
Watch Witten pluck this off the ground. Little out and up. That ball's low, and Witten just snatches it before it gets down to the turf. Let's see if Pete Carroll's going to challenge this. There it goes. There's that red flag.
Here comes the flag. You didn't have a clear view from that angle.
And it was close now. If that ball touched the ground before Witten was able to grab it, that'll be an incomplete pass.
Now ruled a catch on the field, so we need clear evidence if it's going to be overturned, or at least the officials do. Dallas had a challenge in the first half that they lost on.
Seattle is challenged, but the pass was incomplete.
Really hard to see from that vantage point. Let's see another angle and see if that ball, man, look at him just grab the top quarter of the football with his hands.
And they're looking at high definition monitors.
Oh, that's a catch. See his left hand under the ball?
The fingers
that's
under the
incredible.
Ball.
See his left hand under the ball? So his left hand is between the football and the turf. And you'll see it right there. What a great catch by Jason Witten.
A guy 6'6" to be maneuvering on the turf and being able to come up with that is remarkable.
No, it doesn't get any better. And you know what? Tony Romo is not happy with himself, because if he leads Witten like he should, that's 6 points.
Another touchdown. And it looked like the ball bounced him, but that it may have off of his finger.
If it did bounce, it was off of his hand. That's a catch.
And they showed it here on this giant screen TV that hangs from the ceiling. And that's why the fans are applauding. They've already decided.
You see on the big screen here, they just showed how I spotlighted that thing. This crowd's going crazy.
If Seattle loses the challenge, they'll lose a timeout, which could be critical in a tight game here as we head to the fourth quarter.
Oh, they're losing this challenge. But you know what? It was so close, and down in the red zone, it's the right call by Pete Carroll. He couldn't get a good look at it. Absolutely the right call.
Tony Romo, 18 out of 28 so far.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Dallas. Seattle is charged with with its second timeout.
One last look at it. Just look at the left hand under there. Perfect.
16 seconds remaining in the quarter. So from the Seattle 13, it's 1st and 10 Cowboys.
See if they can get the run game going here with DeMarco Murray again.
He gets the carry and has room. Knocked down at the 5-yard line, or just behind it. That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. So after a battle of field goals in the first half, a touchdown toss from Romo to Witten, and that's the end of the third quarter. The Cowboys leading as Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. Squires, glad you're with us from Cowboys Stadium as we get ready to start the fourth quarter, and a 13-6 lead for Jason Garrett and the Cowboys. DeMarco Murray, 14 carries, 109 yards, has caught 4 passes. And on 2nd and 2 from the Seattle 5. 2 tight ends in.
Under. Look.
DeMarco Murray, and will lose some on that carry.
Remember we talked earlier about how important penetration is in run defense. Watch the nose tackle right here in Brandon Mebane, and watch what he does to the center field Costa. Explosive, driving him 2 yards into the backfield, which Chris forces the running back to widen and get horizontal rather than vertical. And then Mebane still has enough juice in the legs to catch up with him and make the tackle. Big time play.
Despite a touchdown today, the red zone problems inside the 20 have continued for Dallas, and this time it's 3rd and 3. Romo has time, throws, and touchdown Cowboys, LaRon Robinson.
Romo in the offensive line. Look at Tony's eyes down the field. He's got all the time in the world and finds LaRon Robinson. LaRon in the back of the end zone on a crossing route. That was all about the offensive line, giving him the time that he needed. And Tony not panicking. Just keeping his eyes down the field, playing zone coverage. LaRon Robinson clears and he throws once again a perfect football.
So with Miles Austin out with a hamstring, Robinson 5 catches. He leads all receivers in this game. And more importantly for the Cowboys, trying to get to 500, a 2-touchdown lead.
This game is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. By UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Under the steady hand of Tony Romo, LaRon Robinson with the touchdown catch and a 20-6 fourth quarter advantage.
Boy, I am impressed with Tony Romo in person here at home. He is wicked good.
We sat and spoke with him, and he said, we'll get it right. Not sounding boastful, confident that this team, win November was the slogan the Cowboys were going with when we were out at practice on Friday. And that touchdown, and the team around him did its part.
And watch the release clock down here to the left, because this will really emphasize the patience of Tony Romo and the protection by the offensive line. Everything happens quicker down in the red zone. You want that ball out in about 2.5 seconds. Look at over 4 seconds. Romo's got time in the pocket to survey the field, and it's the deep crossing route in the back of the end zone right here that flashes open. Hard to defend for 4 seconds when you start talking about red zone defense.
8th game of the year, the Cowboys may be defining themselves as Marshawn Lynch tries to get the Seahawks going. They wanted him to touch the ball 18 times. That's his 18th carry.
And Tony Romo talked to us, Chris, about their running game, about their offense in terms of multi-dimensional and balance. And he also talked about mostly consistency. He said, look, there's been one time this year where we put wins together back to back. And you start looking at their schedule, and they'll take it one game at a time. But they have a chance to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row here when you look at this soft spot of their schedule.
Jackson is going to get rid of the football, and that is intercepted by Terrence Newman.
This one's on Tavares Jackson. Hatcher's going to end up getting the pressure, number 97. See, he's coming, and Tavares Jackson feels him, and that's a prayer. He just puts that one up for grabs. Newman playing underneath the route. Look at Ware coming from the other side of the field, from the right to end up on the left. So Jackson's got a guy behind him and a guy in front of him and just really tosses one up for grabs. That's a big mistake.
Second interception by the Cowboys today. And DeMarco Murray in the backfield as they take over on 1st and 10. Romo. Ron Robinson, almost a one-handed catch. There's a flag that comes in on the back end of the play.
Yeah, I think he's going to push off. They're going to get offensive pass interference on Ron Robinson.
Pass interference. Pass interference, offense number 81. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Cowboys were going for the knockout punch.
Well, they've been great on 1st down. I mean, their 1st down numbers in this game have been unbelievable. And you'll see Ron Robinson. There's the matchup to the left of your screen on Richard Sherman. And just as that ball's thrown, you'll see him push off with his left hand right there. Creates a little gap of separation. And that was the call.
Sherman, the rookie corner. Remember, Trufant and Marcus Trufant and Walter Thurman on the injured list for the Seattle secondary. So the Cowboys now at the 45 on 1st and 20. And DeMarco Murray tries to add to his 100-yard total. The Cowboys corral him, led by David Hawthorne.
They can't get him down. Can't get that guy to the ground. And here's the next 5 games, Chris, that I was talking about with their schedule. I mean, Buffalo's a good team, no question, but that game's at home. They go to Washington. They've already beat Washington once. Miami yet to get a win, and then they go to Arizona. Weakest strength of schedule for the next 5 weeks.
And they've yet to face the Giants. They will play them twice.
They got Philly and the Giants twice in their last 4 games, right? They got the Giants twice, Philly once, and then Tampa wedged in there.
And that could decide the division. The Giants later today, they play New England on Fox in America's Game of the Week. On 2nd down, Romo had to throw it early for Witten. And there's a flag.
Pass interference, defense number 31. Automatic 1st down.
Witten with the out and up has just been ridiculously good. There's the matchup. There's 31, who's working outside leverage on Jason Witten. So there's the out. There's the up. Ooh, that was.
Ooh, you wouldn't call that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless he had a hold of the back of his jersey, I couldn't see it from that angle.
So the Seahawks have their average of about 9 penalties a game. That is good for 16 yards for Dallas. Murray inside the 25-yard line. This November, join the NFL's Salute to Service campaign to honor our nation's veterans and active servicemen and women. Learn more at NFL.com/salute. And we remember all of those veterans and their family on Veterans Day. 11:50 and counting here. Texas. And 2nd and 7 for the Cowboys. Philip Tanner checks in. Great story. Youngster from Dallas, Texas. Free agent signed running back. Almost pass incomplete in the area of Des Bryant.
Tell you who's had a heck of a game today and has been a big part of their running game, and Murray is going to get all the credit, up over 100 yards on only 17 carries. Tony Fiametta,
fullback.
The fullback has really done a fine job in opening up some of those holes with those one-on-one blocks on the linebackers today.
And facing a 3rd down, Tony Romo has the best 4th quarter quarterback rating of any quarterback who is active in the NFL.
5 down. Martellus, stay. You got 29, Martellus. You 57. 28. 27.
And that pass was thrown low for Des Bryant. And incomplete. So a 4th down field goal try. The Cowboys try and add to their lead. Dan Bailey, who's been terrific. This will be from 42 with Tony Romo, the holder. And the kick is good. So Bailey is 3 for 3, but the connection of Romo to Witten has helped the Cowboys take control here in the fourth quarter. 2 to go in the fourth quarter, and David Buehler ready to kick off for the Cowboys. The Bailey-Buehler combination has worked well today as Leon Washington is back to receive. Here he comes. Gets out to the 30-yard line where the Seattle offense takes over.
Watch Romo high-fiving everybody. You go high-five. No, Wade Wilson. No, psych. Nice try.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost.
Cowboys with a 23-6 lead, and important to go to 500 should they be able to hold on here. And it's up to the defense now with Tavares Jackson hanging in there, playing hurt with that torn muscle in his chest, that partial tear. And Lynch carries for a first down. Marshawn Lynch all the way down inside the Cowboy 41-yard line. A 29-yard run.
Lynch has just been explosive. Look at this big crease already just by alignment. So you get one guy blocked and you're off to the races. And it's Robert Gallery that's able to block Brady James on that play.
And a no huddle for Tavares Jackson. Unloads to Lynch, who makes a move down to the 33-yard line. Anthony Spencer brought him down.
Now the run defense has not been good for the Cowboys. And Rob Ryan, there he is, the defensive coordinator. He knows it. And it's been more guys getting blocked, not the missed tackles. But I'll tell you where they've been outstanding, especially without a bunch of pressure. Their pass coverage has dominated this game.
Leon Washington and a flag.
Holding offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's on John Moffett of the Seahawks. And again, the Cowboys playing without Sean Lee, who's really been the most complete player. They were waiting for the swelling on that wrist to go down so that they could fit it for a cast. He was wearing a brace in pregame warm-ups, so they're not sure, as Sean Lee over there in street clothes, happy his team has done the job.
Absolutely, and the linebackers have done a good job in coverage today, as I was saying earlier. You know, you said it, Tavares Jackson, 2 of the last 3 games, over 300. Barely over 150 in this game.
2nd and 12. Seattle needs to get points in a hurry. It'll be 3rd down.
There's just nowhere to go with the ball. I mean, Newman, Sensenbaugh, all the guys on the back end, Abram Elam.
Those are 2 of the guys. You talk about the Cowboys safeties that Rob Ryan said don't get a lot of credit, but they've played steady football all season long.
Quietly, they've had a good season, and he has not been good out of the pocket, where Tavares Jackson typically has been pretty darn good. And let's give Skandrick some credit as well. He's out there starting for Mike Jenkins today and has played well.
7 defensive backs on 3rd and 12. Jackson has time. Doug Baldwin short of a first down. It'll be 4th down. Seattle's going to go for it, understandably. But they need to get down to the 31 of Dallas.
And they're going to need Skandrick to get better and better. You know, he's got somewhere around 10 starts in the NFL, and he's going to have an opportunity here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, because I think Mike Jenkins is going to be down close to a month, Chris, with the hamstring.
On 4th and 7. Sidney Rice has a first down at the 21 of Dallas. A pressure throw by Tavares Jackson.
A big-time throw, fading off of his back foot. Watch, he's fading backwards as the pressure comes late in his face. He's falling backwards and unloads it to Sidney Rice, who had Frank Walker beaten by a couple of steps.
A 17-yard pickup. So from the 21, 8:30 to go. Lynch. Not much. Marshawn Lynch is over 125 yards today. First 100-yard game of the season for him, the 7th of his career.
Hey, 5-6. Leave the punch. 5-8.
Lynch. You would think Seattle would be in a little more of a hurry here with that clock. Only one timeout left for the Seahawks.
Not to mention, you got an opportunity to without DeMarcus Ware on the field, and Victor Butler out there rushing the passer for him.
Hey, 4-2, 4-2.
3rd and 6. Pass is caught by Mike Williams for a first down inside the 6-yard line of Dallas.
Seattle's got to get to the line of scrimmage, as you said. They got to play some hurry up, no huddle here, and get it going with that clock ticking down right at 7 minutes.
They need 3 scores.
Yep.
The fade route right there if he wants it.
Marshawn Lynch on 1st and goal. Anthony Spencer in on a tackle, having a big day for the Cowboys.
And I know the run has been great for them, but the more they run, the more they're losing time. Just that clock's just getting chewed up.
And standing around in the huddle didn't help either.
Yeah, they gotta speed the tempo up here if they're gonna have any prayer getting back in this game. 3 scores down.
This is Marshawn Lynch for a Seahawk touchdown. Ball's down. Good. Ball came out afterwards, but a clear signal from the official. And you know by now that all scoring plays are reviewed.
Lynch has got some power. That's been on full display today because Brady James, you're going to see come from his linebacker spot, gets his arms around Marshawn Lynch at about the 1.5-yard line, and Lynch just carries him in. You see there, he's wrapped up, Brady James. Lynch spins out of it, ball passes the plane, touchdown.
And then it comes out when he hits the ground.
Yeah, the ball was already past the plane as he had control of it for the TD.
So his 4th touchdown run of the season. And the extra point will make it a 10-point game. So the Seahawks with a touchdown in the 4th quarter on the legs of Marshawn Lynch and a clutch 4th down throw from Tavares Jackson. The Cowboys lead 23-13.
Tight end Zach Miller gets a chip. There's 3 working on him that time. And that, you know what, when you're an elite pass rusher, and DeMarcus Ware is, you're going to get that kind of attention just about every week. Yet he still manages year after year to put up double-digit sacks. Awesome.
Neither quarterback has been sacked in this game. So DeMarco Murray with plenty of running room. Goes out of bounds and doesn't want to do that because you're protecting a 10-point lead.
Look, as good as Tony Romo's been today, Chris, he's been outstanding. There's the shiniest star on the field, DeMarco Murray.
And what was the story Jason Garrett said about 4 or 5 years ago? He was in San Antonio, ran into Barry Switzer, former Sooner coach. He's done some work with us, former Cowboy coach. And what did Switzer tell
Barry
him?
told him, look, there's a kid going to Oklahoma that I promise you 4 years from now is going to be a record setter for the Sooners. And DeMarco Murray was exactly that with 50 rushing touchdowns. Again, I said it earlier. I don't know how this guy lasted until the 3rd round of the NFL draft. What a pickup by Jerry Jones and the boys.
Murray gets the pitch at the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Clock continues to run for the Cowboys.
And everybody talked about, well, it's his knee. I remember we were at the Senior Bowl where all the college talent goes. He was terrific there. He looked great. All the tests were terrific and how he tested athletically. And everybody kept talking about DeMarco Murray's knee. Well, you go back and look at his college career, he didn't even miss a handful of games. Durability was not a huge issue for Murray at Oklahoma.
And he wouldn't have got the opportunity if Felix Jones would have suffered an ankle injury, at least not to play as much as he has. Already his second 100-yard game, and adding to that, he's almost at 130 yards. Fights for a first down. Born in Las Vegas, college at Oklahoma, and has arrived as a Cowboy in these last 3 games. Remember, a month ago, he was just back behind Tashard Choice, and they were both battling behind Felix Jones. And now he looks like he's the man.
Look at 8.9 yards per carry. You try for 4, so he's more than double that. And then look at the explosive runs.
What do you do when Felix Jones comes back healthy?
Well, Felix Jones, I promise you, is going to be motivated to be his very best. His whole issue has been injuries. And you go back and watch Felix Jones' career here. He's been unable to stay healthy, but it'll be a high-octane 1-2 punch.
On 1st and 10, Murray's going to go the other way. Just trying to fall down at the 40-yard line.
And here's DeMarco Murray here. He got a little toss sweep. He's going to get an explosive run here of 10+. Look at all the tackles he's breaking. There's 3 broken tackles on that run. Another explosive run. And then here's where I think he's underrated as a receiver. There's a nice catch and a broken tackle. There's another nice catch to get him out on just a little out route. 157 catches in college. You come in with those kind of credentials, they're going to throw you the football in the Sunday afternoon league.
Closing in on 200 total yards here. And at the 3-minute mark. He can carry the workload. And is one who wants the football.
And that's it. Seattle's done with timeouts.
Seahawks used their last timeout. As Murray looks a little worn out. Again, the only other healthy back is Philip Tanner, other than fullback Tony Fiametta. America's Game of the Week coming up. Cowboys will be interested seeing what the Giants can do at New England. Troy Aikman with the call on that. Packers and Chargers, Rivers and Rodgers, and then the Rams and Cardinals with injured quarterbacks. Looks like Skelton will go in place of Kevin Cobb. And many of you will see Eli Manning and Tom Brady.
Eli has been red hot. Won 5 of the last 6 games.
Giants
Tom coming off a rough outing against the Pittsburgh Steelers under 200 yards throwing.
Ahmad Bradshaw hurt for the Giants. They've dealt with their share of injuries. So Philip Tanner is in. Again, the free agent from Middle Tennessee. And he gets the carry. Tanner, a great story. One of those proud Cowboys. He grew up a Cowboy fan. Used to sell nachos at the old Texas Stadium to help his AAU track team. And is one of those that is early to show up once he made the team, puts on the uniform, he gets teased about it, but he's still basking in the glow of making an NFL roster, and not just any, that of the Dallas Cowboys.
And he's got a place on this team, you know, with Tashard Choice being moved off, and now with the Washington Redskins on their roster. So even when Felix Jones comes back, Philip Tanner will still have a spot, I believe, on this roster.
As we get closer to the 2-minute mark, the Redskins are losing at home to San Francisco. So the Cowboys will move up a notch on Washington.
And San Francisco will extend their lead in the NFC West. I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch them, to be honest with you. This is going to be their 7th consecutive win if they can hold on against the Redskins.
Seattle won the division last year with 7 wins. But stuck at the 2-win mark for the Seahawks at this moment. Fox Sports is proud to support the Armed Forces Foundation, who offers vital assistance to service members and their families through financial, recreational, and emotional support. The AFF provides better care and treatment for our military. So we ask you to support America's heroes by serving those who serve. For more information and to help out, please visit armedforcesfoundation.org. Chris Jones with a solid game, called upon to punt in his first NFL game. After Dallas used a timeout. Leon Washington with the fair catch. 2:03 to go. Seattle out of timeouts, and Tavares Jackson, they let him make the call. He was going to be in pain, but courageous attempt to try and tough this out, which he has so far, but looks like he's not going to get the win.
Well, he's been huge in terms of his ability to elude the pressure with his legs, but the 2 interceptions have crushed his passer rating. And the one which hit Lissamore right in the body, the defensive lineman, popped up in the air as he was just trying to throw it away, and Hatcher was able to get the deflection interception, and then of course the awful decision on the Newman interception where he just threw it up for grabs.
Underneath, Golden Tate's first catch of the game as we hit the 2-minute mark, and there's a flag down.
To the head, 15-yard penalty, first down. That is the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes.
The call on DeMarcus Ware. Seahawks have the football at the 2-minute mark, trailing by 10. Jason Garrett, officially his 16th game as head coach of the Cowboys, completing a season, and it was Jerry Jones who said no time to be alarmed, even after the tough loss to Philadelphia.
That's right. It was one of those days. It was awful in every category, and Jerry Jones knew it, knows it. Those things do happen in the NFL. They have really responded here today.
As Justin Forsett races into Cowboy territory for a Seattle first down.
And I'm telling you, when you look at their schedule the next 4 weeks, if they can play like they played today, especially offensively and in their pass defense, they are going to set themselves up for a big-time finish in the division. And it's going to come right down to the wire. Should be a lot of fun to watch and watch how this thing plays out.
There is a sense of calm with Jason Garrett, but he said, I'm intense when I have to be, and the players can tell that. Jackson goes to the ground, pass intended for sets. Yes, the Cowboys are searching for consistency, and Tony Romo said we have to find a rhythm. And against Buffalo next week, they'll try to continue that. And then, of course, at Washington.
And Rob Ryan knows here's where they need to get better, and I'm sure they'll focus on it this week at practice, is they got to get better in run defense. Seattle has not been a good running team, and they have really run roughshod all over the Cowboys today. They've run for 162 yards. That's not going to cut it. And Rob Ryan will do what he can to get it fixed, the defensive coordinator. And it may be just as easy as simplifying some things, Chris, on defense.
Here comes the blitz. It's picked up, and the pass is caught by Ben Obamanu. Yeah, that was one thing Rob Ryan, they said they went back to pads and tackling, put the emphasis on fundamentals this week for the defense.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, the guy they'll hope to get back with the wrist injury is Sean Lee, because he means so much to their run defense. Leads them in tackles. Really, really good player.
On third down, Tavares Jackson, can he get? No, he cannot get away. Tried to escape, but 3 Cowboys led by Anthony Spencer, and Orlando Scandrick bottled him up.
And here's the heat, and Bruce Carter, the rookie, looks like he's going to get him some too. Very good move there by Spencer. Carter's there to clean it up, but it's all about Anthony Spencer and Orlando Scandrick in the first sack of the day.
On fourth down, Tavares Jackson is intercepted. Gerald Sensabaugh, the third interception.
They're giving it to
and now they're pointing at the other one.
Yeah, Ty goes to the receiver.
But Sensabaugh had it first, and then Doug Baldwin, the crafty free agent from Stanford, was digging in there.
Yeah, and they're talking about it right now, the back judge and the line judge. Let's see if they give it the other way. And they do.
Sensabaugh had it cleanly and down before
Baldwin's pleading because he came over the top, Chris. Another bad underthrown ball by Tavares Jackson. He just throws it up for grabs. So you see Sensabaugh's underneath the route. Look at Baldwin come over the top. They both have it. Ty goes to the receiver. That should, I'm telling you, that should be Seattle football.
Well, now wait a minute. Didn't Sensabaugh have the interception and then was down?
Watch Baldwin goes over the top. Who's it touched first? It hits Baldwin in the hands. They both have it.
No, but Sensabaugh has it and he's down right here.
No, I'll argue that Baldwin has it.
Well, he's over his back. And the officials are going to take, under 2 minutes here, they're going to take a closer look.
Tie goes to the receiver.
Yes,
this is going to be Baldwin's football.
No, I understand the tie, but that's not a tie in my book. That's going over the back and reaching in the guy after he was down.
Well, he went over the back and had it before he was the first one to touch the ball. Watch Baldwin come over the top. Either way, it's a great play by either guy. See, Baldwin's the first guy over the top.
Yeah, but he doesn't have possession of it. Sensabaugh does.
No, let me loan you my glasses here for a second.
you're look. No, I would give it a Sensabaugh.
Well, let's see what Terry McCauley does.
Okay, after they review it.
And if you're right,
you're buying dinner.
That's right.
Okay. Well, you bought lunch yesterday.
I did. You're right.
So I owe you anyway.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
I owe you dinner.
That's all right.
Dang it.
That's okay. You just like Doug Baldwin.
Look at Baldwin.
Because he's a fighter. He came in as their leading receiver. And that'll seal the deal. 3 interceptions for Rob Ryan's defense, although Tim Ryan will walk out of here saying, I still don't agree with that last one. And for Sensabaugh, that's his second interception of the season. But the good news for the Cowboys, they're at 500, so that increases their chances of being a playoff team. And Baldwin is fighting mad.
He's coming after you, by the way.
The Cowboys decided this a long time ago. Cowboys winners for Tim Ryan. I'm Chris Myers, 23-13 the final. Let's join Kurt Menefee.